My second international college to support that would be, what is your own view with the struggle we're going through when it comes to the RCC, like taking African leaders to the Hague, RCC International Court, or how do you view when African revolutionary leaders are preaching revolutionary struggle for African independence? When they take power, the Western culture will bring sanctions, RCC, to demonize the struggles of a black man can succeed, because I see Africa transformation in you. So I just want you to speak to the RCC. I want you to speak to sensational African leaders, because I see you are one of the greater potentials in moving African struggle forward.
Thank you very much, my brother. Just a slight correction. A peaceful transfer of power. Everyone is shooting themselves into power and they're shot out of power. I'm really flattered once again to be compared to the great leaders like Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah. He was my age. He was speaking just like I am speaking, maybe more eloquently than I'm speaking. These are guys that inspired us. I was named after Robert Mugabe. Did you know that? He was a great revolutionary. Always turned, not always, but some of them have turned into despised despots. It makes me imagine if Kwame Nkrumah was to live up to 60, if Thomas Sankara was to live up to 60, problem. And he's famously quoted to have said, the problem with Africa, the problem with Uganda in particular, and Africa in general, are the leaders that overstay in power. This is a guy that has been in power for 40 years now, to the ballot box again. It worries me, even myself. It makes me not trust my own self. I keep wondering, am I going to turn around and eat my own words? Am I going to be like these? Did they all of a sudden believe that Africa stopped producing, that they were the last breed of thoughtful Africans and all that? But again, it serves as a lesson to remind me that the first thing that we should do, I take examples from the Europeans and Americans, and I know that their countries don't develop or are governed well because the leaders are so nice and so noble. No, it is because their people have been empowered not to take any nonsense must do to our people, especially the young people, to hold leaders accountable, to say, no man, cut the crap whenever the leaders trying to bring their nonsense. That is the only way we're going to make leaders accountable to the people. The solution to our problem is to have case they will not mortgage our countries to the West. They will not sell our minerals, because we shall be land enough, we shall be awakened, we shall be able to put them on spot. All that happens when people are empowered to remove. It is the people that brought him or her to power. Then a leader will think twice before they abuse power, before they do things that don't benefit their people, and that way the people will be benefiting. That's my view.
To ask you, I'm listening to you explaining very well. And my question to you, if you were elected as president today for Uganda, what will you do different from the current president?
I'll say every presidency, to reduce the powers of the presidency, independent institutions, to have separation of powers, to put an end to militarism, to the elections. I would not. I would release all political prisoners and ensure that the judiciary is independent and does not operate at the calling of the executive. That is a currency, is a way of survival for the regime. I would put an end to that. So precisely, I would be the opposite of the current regime.
Summer, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Bobby Wine. Uganda, do you see this movement resonating in other African countries? And also to support that, do you feel that there is enough solidarity among opposition movements?
Thank you. Do I see people power moving across Africa? Oh yeah.
Okay.
Look at this. Have you looked in Kenya in the past days? That you live in an absolute dictatorship. The last time our people protested on the streets when I was unfairly imprisoned, more than 150 were mauled. They were shot to death. So yeah, we live under different circumstances in Uganda, but we are trying to, give them confidence, and we know possible unity with among opposition movements in Africa. I will not only look at opposition movements. Not everybody in opposition is who's in government is my enemy. It is not a matter of going to power. So for me, it's not a matter of whether being in opposition or being to power. No, it's a matter I would stand with them. If they stand for something I don't stand for, even if they're in opposition, I would not agree with them. And if they stand for something that I stand for, then maybe I would agree with it. It does not depend on who is in opposition or who is in government. But as long as you believe in servant leadership, as long as you believe in democracy, as long as you believe in human rights and the rule of law, as long as you believe in Pan-Africanism and true African, if you believe in it is with us.
Okay. People in Uganda think that opposition political institutions are not united. So at the end of the day, the current president will always have his way through as the way things are happening in the country. How united are you oppositions in Uganda?
I've been saying it. Well, it is not politically correct for me to say I'm not a politician. Ordinary people. Like I said, we want to take politics away from the ordinary politicians. We want the common people to take the politics because they are the ones that are affected. There is the political elite purported to decide and think for the common people, only showing up every 5 years for electioneering. In the ghetto, people tend to call them electropreneurs. It does not matter about the politician. This is not a business of political parties where a few people form form a political party, and so they come together and say, oh, now and then the regime wants them to give legitimacy. We are here to disrupt things, and we will work with anybody that wants an overhaul in this. Therefore, it is not about the common people taking charge. In this, our revolution, it might be a democratic, non-violent revolution, but it is a revolution where we are upsetting the status quo, where we want the woman that sells Okada or Boda and the young boy that is working in a barber shop and the military general and the member of parliament all have an equal say in the political matters of a country. We can achieve that in a situation where only the politicians have a say. Everybody is going to have a say, and that say is going to be equal. In this era of TikTok, of internet, of social media, everybody has a voice, and their voice is heard. Many ordinary voice to be heard, for as long as that voice represents a substantial amount of people. So yes, it's not about only political players coming together, it's about the population coming together.
The arrests, Bobi Wine, the beatings, being shot. This is just too much for one person, a young person going through all these things, depriving you of a lot of things. At what point have you reached to think that it is just too much for you?
That point reached a long time ago, my brother. When I was abducted and put in a military detention and tortured beyond control, and everything horrible happened to me. But guess what? I came out alive. My time to break. We're moving forward, regardless.
How relevant, Bobi Wine, you think you are still with the young people of Uganda? We're moving towards the elections, and I'm going to ask you another question, but I just want to know, how relevant are you still?
It is not me who has to be relevant. It doesn't matter whether or not I'm relevant. The question should be, how relevant is the struggle for freedom? Does it still have a meaning? Is it still worth going for? It's not about me, and I never want dangerous to make it about me, to make the relevance about me. That is empowering the enemy. That means if they take me out, then everything crumbles. But now it's not about me, and I keep telling the young people, anybody in Uganda, in Africa, can be a Bobi Wine, and we must multiply our one of us, the many others keep going. So it's not about my relevance, it's about the relevance of the cause. How relevant is this cause? It gets more relevant every day because everybody's eyes keep opening. We always tell Ugandans that, many are arrested, many are cheated, many die in hospitals. So this an awakening of everybody. Something happens every now and then, and people get the realization, and they wake up and smell the coffee and know they have to.
But has that been, or is there any danger that you yourself, looking at what you said about the president 25 and moving to the election in Uganda, where it has been speculated, it has been tweeted by the current president's son, which point to a clear indication that he might likely took over from his, according to you, dictatorial leadership being carried out in Uganda.
Please ask the question again. I'm sorry.
So I'm asking you, what is said about the tweet from his father looking at the current leadership in the country as it has been termed by you? You have a dictatorial leadership in the country where it is now a peaceful or democratically elected government as the way it should be.
Yeah, I'm 84 years of age or thereabout. And nature has no substitutes. You can see it from him and the way he does the things he does. And we must also know over the powers because he heads the military and all, institutions of coercion, and he uses them at his disposal. You must have seen him tweet about unelected people and taken pride and fun in it. He right now as we speak, my bodyguard, my personal bodyguard, who is my friend, is in prison but very badly tortured after being abducted by the General Museveni's son, who's the head of. That does not show strength, it shows weakness. It shows a little girl inside this huge man with a mustache, deranged and disillusioned, and think myself. We overcame, we defeated his father, we can defeat him too. Of course, it's worrying. Being in a country where torture is a way of subjugation and puts that on social media for entire world to see. By now, it is supposed to be horrifying to all of you Africans to see a head of a military that picks people and tortures them, threatens to kill people and nation. But I must tell Africa and the world that does not stop us. We shall keep fighting. We shall get our freedom, or we shall die trying to get our freedom.
Now, yours and you stay standing strong, very firm, pushing for the presidency of Uganda. Seeing some of the arrests being taken place in the country, people are being placed behind bars. Bobi Wine, what are you doing about all these things happening to your supporters? And sometimes when you see some of these things on social media, it is very discouraging as to their health conditions.
Yeah, it's terrible, I must say. Motivated words of great people that came before us. Like I said, I'm reminded that people have gone through worse. There was a woman called Harriet Tubman who was freeing slaves in America, who said, she freed 1,000 slaves. So yeah, our people, we struggle by to remind them that they are slaves. There's nothing to lose other than their chains. But also, you have mentioned, yes, there's so much we go through. How do we going? That same Harriet Tubman told his followers that when you hear the dogs, keep going. When you hear the shoutings, keep going. When you hear the fired bullets, keep going. Keep going if you want to taste the sweet scent of freedom. So we just keep going.
Okay, so let's hear you
Prince. All right.